After 9 long years, he finally made it back home. His wife had prepared a table full of food waiting for him, but just as he was happily eating, he noticed something. His wife's right index finger was tapping a steady rhythm on the table. The next second his blood ran ice cold. This wasn't random fidgeting. This was Morse code. He kept his head down, staying in his eating posture, but his fingers moved under the table, silently piecing together her message. Get out now, there are 10 listening devices in the house. His heart dropped. His chewing froze mid-bite. He slowly lifted his head to look at her. Sarah still wore a gentle smile, her mouth forming the words, honey, eat up, here's your favorite. I made extra just for you today. But behind her eyes, there was nothing but pure terror and desperation. She was silently begging him to run. He forced himself to swallow the food in his mouth, pushing down the rising panic inside. He could not afford to panic. 9 years working undercover had hardened his nerves to steel. The more dangerous the situation, the calmer he had to be. He put down his chopsticks and managed a smile. Yeah, nothing beats home cooking, but I've been traveling for so long. I'm pretty wiped out, and I'm all dirty too. I'm gonna go take a shower first. Get into some clean clothes. A flash of urgency crossed Sarah's face, but she quickly masked it. She nodded, her smile a little forced. Okay, you go ahead. I already got the water heater running for you. He stood up and walked towards the bathroom, each step measured and calm, but every muscle in his body was coiled and ready for a fight. The second he closed the bathroom door, he didn't turn on the shower. His first move was to sweep the small room, behind the mirror in the vent inside the toilet tank, every possible hiding spot. He checked it all. Sure enough, in a hidden groove under the sink, his fingers brushed against a cold, matchbox-sized object. He didn't pull it out, just used his fingertip to trace its shape. It was a military-grade listening device, the newest model, effective range 500 meters, could probably pick up a heartbeat. A cold sweat broke out on his back. This was way beyond simple surveillance. This was professional and lethal. Who was behind it? Had his cover been blown? Or was Sarah being controlled by someone? He turned on the shower, the roar of water filling the small space. It would muffle some sound temporarily. He leaned against the cold tile, his mind racing a mile a minute. 10, Sarah had said. 10 devices. That meant no corner of the house was safe. Every word he spoke, every move he made, was being watched and heard. Should he run now? No. If he ran, what would happen to Sarah? If they could bug his entire house, they definitely had complete control over her. The second he tried to escape, she would be dead. He couldn't leave. He had to stay and find out who was doing this. He quickly rinsed off, and when he walked out of the bathroom, his face was perfectly calm again. He even looked relaxed, like he just had a nice shower. Sarah had already cleared the table and was sitting on the couch watching some happy TV show. He understood. She was performing for the unseen eyes and ears. He walked over and sat down next to her. He picked up an apple and started peeling it slowly with a knife. Honey, these past few years must have been so hard on you. Sarah turned to him, her eyes red-rimmed. It wasn't hard just as long as you came back safe. But my dad hasn't been feeling well lately. He keeps asking about us. Can you go with me to see him tomorrow? His hand holding the apple paused. Her Morse code never mentioned visiting her dad. This was new. He looked at her eyes full of meaning and a silent plea. He got it. Her dad wasn't her real dad. It was a code word only the two of them knew. It was the emergency meeting point they had agreed on before he left, a place that was completely safe. He handed her the peeled apple, the peel still in one long unbroken strip. We'll go see your dad first thing in the morning. The next day, just as dawn was breaking, he and Sarah got up. They acted like any normal couple, washing up and eating breakfast. She tied his tie for him. He smoothed her hair. Right before they left, she hugged his arm, resting her head on his shoulder. Honey, I'm a little scared. Her voice was barely a whisper, and he could feel her real fear. He knew she wasn't scared of visiting her dad. She was scared of what they were about to do. He patted her hand and whispered in her ear, don't be scared. The words were for her, but also for whoever was listening on the other end. He needed them to believe he was just a regular husband who had been away for 9 years and missed his wife. They got into their nearly 10-year-old Volkswagen. Before getting in, he did his usual check of the car. No tracker underneath. No new bugs inside. Looked like they thought the 10 devices in the house were enough to monitor him. As they slowly pulled out of the neighborhood, he spotted it in the rearview mirror, a black Buick keeping a steady distance behind them. He smirked to himself. Just as expected, Sarah saw it too, her body tensing up instantly. Don't turn around, he said softly, and turned up the music. A catchy pop song filled the car, masking their nervous heartbeats. At the next intersection, the light was yellow with 3 seconds left. He didn't slow down. He floored it, the car zooming through just as it turned red. The black Buick got stuck in the traffic behind. Did we lose them? Not yet, he said calmly, watching the mirror. A professional job like this uses more than one car. They'll cut us off from another street soon. Sure enough, in less than 5 minutes, a silver Honda appeared in their rearview. Sarah's face went pale again. Easy, he reassured her, while his brain was already mapping out a route. He couldn't go straight to their meeting point. That would be too obvious. It would be like telling them he knew they were there. He had to go somewhere else first, somewhere to throw them off, and give them a temporary break from being watched. He jerked the steering wheel, and the car veered onto a side road.